are what we repeatedly do, Aristotle famously proclaimed. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Today is January the 20th, and about this time, that resolution that seemed pretty reasonable a week ago, going to the gym every other day, reading a book a week, only drinking alcohol on weekends, it's starting to seem pretty hard. As you're teetering on the edge of abandoning it all, I'm here to help. But how do we rewire a habit once they have congealed into daily routines? We all know it takes more than willpower. A habit can be changed as hard as it may seem. And I'm a living example. In tiny, almost infinitesimal steps, I've changed a long laundry list of habits. I quit smoking. I stopped impulse eating and spending. I started eating healthier and running. I became frugal and simplified my life. I ran a half marathon and lost 40 pounds. You get the picture. It is possible, and it took me, well, 4 years. So changing the habit. When I became interested in how long it takes to form a new habit or change a habit, I was bombarded by the same magic number from popular psychology websites to advice columns. 21 days. And yet surprisingly, or perhaps predictably for the internet, this all size fits all number, it was being applied to everything from starting a new running regimen to keeping a diary. But it wasn't backed by any concrete data. I even came across to a statement from the self-help book, The Secret, and I quote, this is a variation of the habit rule, and I quote, changing the habit will take 30 days, reaffirming it for another 30 days will definitely fix it, and you'll have no problem to continue from there on. But changing habits is never that easy. If you were, overeaters would all be thin, alcoholics would never relapse, and everyone else would be up in the morning, early in the morning, eating a healthy breakfast before they go to work. And I'm going to read this because it's a long one. Making habits, breaking habits, why we do things, why we don't, and how to make any change stick. Available at public library. Psychologist Jeremy Dean studies he studies the actual science on habit through evaluating the existing empirical evidence. And he cites an influential study to get a more concrete answer to the elusive question of how long it takes to form a new habit. And the study cited was carried out by University College London, where 96 participants were asked to choose behavior they wanted to change into a daily routine. The 96 participants chose something that they didn't do on a daily basis. They didn't already do, but they could do on a daily basis. And most of the time was something health related, like eating a piece of fruit with lunch, or running 15 minutes after dinner. During the 84 days of the study, they were asked to log into a website and record whether they were able to carry out the behavior and how automatic the behavior had felt. The simple answer is, for all the participants who provided enough data, it took an average of 66 days to form a habit. As you can imagine, there were variations depending on what people chose to do to form the habit. And I have a couple of examples. People who resolved to drink a glass of water with breakfast were apt to complete automaticity after 20 days. Those who chose to eat a fruit with their lunch took twice as long. The exercise habit proved to be the trickiest one. Still not a habit after 84 days. And walking for 10 minutes after breakfast was turned into a habit after 50 days. Although the study was carried out only for 84 days, by extrapolating the data, it turned out that certain behaviors would have taken 254 days to be turned into a habit, the better part of the year. So what this study suggests is 21 days is probably the right amount of time to change a habit, as long as all you want to do is to drink a glass of water after breakfast. Everything else would take you longer, and for certain activities, much, much longer. While the finding may at first appear disheartening, it's actually oddly assuring in reminding us that habit, as genius, is merely a matter of persistence and deliberate practice. Which brings us to the second part, less cited, of Aristotle's famous dictum that excellence is not an act, but a habit. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.